This is a Ford part. It feels so wrong. It's the 1962 AMC Rambler again. We're putting a brand new transmission seal in it so we can put the 196 cubic inch straight six engine into the car, bolt everything back together, fire the car up and see if the transmission leaks as it did previously. And I don't think we're gonna have any problems because the box the new seal came in says Auto Parts, the professional source. And it also says, do not remove it until ready for assembly. It wasn't made in the USA. That's, well, it was technically made in the country of one of our adversaries. So I think it'll work. So here's our engine that we're gonna put in the car. As soon as we get this installed right there. So we've got a few things to inspect before we, really get crack-a-lackin' here. Oh, there's a special springy washer for our exhaust. We're gonna need that. Must have dropped that in the previous video when we were taking the engine out. We'll take the new seal out in a minute here as well. I want to get all this prepped first. And we're hoping it's the right seal. That's something we'll find out as well. It's kind of hard to track down proper part numbers for things like this. This is a Borg-Warner Flash-O-Matic M35/T35 push button on the dash. Automatic 3-speed transmission. Okay, well we're going to be cleaning the dirt dauber nest off. Yeah, that's rock hard. Gosh darn it, we don't want to get that stuff in there. We'll make sure we get that out. We're going to inspect everything around here and make sure that nothing is cracked. It's possible that you will not be very pleased with how much cleaning in here I do, but I'm in the middle of moving. I got to get cars all put together, and I don't know which order you're seeing these videos in, so I'm giving you these little nuggets of info. I don't have time. I just got to get the car running and driving without puking its guts all over the ground. And so I'm not doing a thorough cleaning inside the bell housing of this transmission. But after I get moved and I'm in a different garage and all that stuff down the line, I would love to pull everything out of this car and paint the engine, degrease the transmission, all that kind of stuff, make it just like factory. But for right now, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to try to get all that dirt dauber nest stuff out of here. That was a mistake. There we go. Now we can start cleaning this stuff out of here. Now we're just cleaning what we got to do just to make sure that we have a clean area for putting our seal in. We don't want to drag a bunch of grease and dirt in with it, but it's not a beauty contest. I will, however, go for a little bit of the easy stuff. But I have to promise myself I'm not going to go overboard, because otherwise I will. Because I love cleaning stuff like this. It's just not the time. Yeah, this is addicting. This has to stop right now. I gotta just wipe this out. And see, I'm still scraping. I need to just wipe it out and just call it good, because it does not matter right now. Now we just need to get the old seal out. Boy, that seal really is thrashed. Need to just get it out without jamming any debris down in there. Catholic school rummage sale screwdriver to the rescue. I don't really expect it to just pop out with just this screwdriver, but we'll give it a try. And there is actually a thing called a seal puller, and I'll actually link that in the video description. Link some seal pullers in the video description along with some other cool things. And I'll actually link the seal puller that I plan on buying as soon as I get around to doing it. But for right now, just a little screwdriver. This old seal really is just crumbling. You know, it's no wonder why it was leaking. I do not want to damage the input shaft of the transmission, but I also need to pop this out. There's a fine line between getting things done and being stupid. Well, maybe not a fine line, let's just say a line. Oh man, that really hurt. Jeez. This seal does really does not want to come out. So now I'm just using this as essentially a chisel because, well, I would use an actual chisel, but I'd have to climb out and get it. Just as long as we don't damage anything that has anything to do with our sealing, or else we're back at square one, as Tom Petty told us. That was a tough one. Let's see the manifest. Yeah, that thing is absolutely nothing left of that seal. Especially after we were done with it. Look at that. Look at what was supposed to be the rubber. Rock hard, crusty, broken and gone. So it looks like we got ourselves a souvenir. And now we need to clean all this up and then tap our new seal in. I almost said bearing. What day is it? You see, first you want to start with the dirtiest, crustiest thing you can find and start jamming that into the transmission. That will help get it cleaner. Look at that coming out. Old seal bits. Like a rock, man. Yeah, that had no chance of sealing. So in just a second here, we'll have this all cleaned up and we'll get that seal installed, and then there's actually something to do with the torque converter that we're going to do that I will share with you in a second here when we get to that point. Do you ever find yourself just randomly thinking about Wolf Blitzer? The friggin' can's empty. Okay, so we're opening up this seal right now to take a peek at it, and did I mention that if this seal works, if this is the correct seal for this BorgWarner T35/M35 transmission, the correct front pump seal, and it does not leak here in our 62 Rambler Classic Deluxe, then the part number, all the information for it, it's in the video description. I know that most likely you don't give a hootskis about it, right? About the part number for this. But the thing is somebody, oh, a little rusty. This must not sell like hotcakes. But there's somebody out there that's needing to do the same thing, and there's not much going on in search of you know, for information on this type of stuff, especially for a car like this. So here's the answers for them. It can help them get another car back on the road, because we're trying to outnumber these modern cars. Sick of them. Sick of seeing them. Just trying to clean up this rusty edge here. Ooh, see, that looks like new. There we go. I'm glad I took the time to do that. Let's do a tiny little test fit on our torque converter. Oh yeah, snug right there. It feels just right. I think we got the right seal, my friends. So what we're gonna do is just a very, I mean, I don't even want that much. Just the teeniest, tiniest little bit. I'll wipe around the outside of the seal. just to help the amount of smashing with a hammer we have to do to get it in. Tread lightly. Start hoping and praying. I'm just kidding, you don't need to do that. This is going to go perfectly smooth, and I even got a little mini dollop of grease right here that we can wipe on the transmission. Oh, my legs are stuck. If we feel like we need to. I just want you to see what the seating arrangement is like. And you know, if anybody ever asks me if I've ever stood in between the front cross members of a 62 Rambler Classic Deluxe in holy jeans, I can say, ow. I didn't mean ow, I hit my head on the light. I can honestly say, yes. Yes, I have. And I'm gonna sit right here in between the front engine mounts. I know this is a little weird, but you're in between my legs right now. But it's okay, we're family. Think of it like the locker room. All right, there's the old seal from most likely 1962. And here's our brand new seal. And here goes nothing, nothing. And I'm a little nervous, I'm a little scared. I should have paid attention to how far out the old one was sticking out so I could have an idea of how far to drive the new one in. But I didn't. Okay, let's gingerly start with some tapping. Okay, it's doing the classic seal dance, not the swimming kind. It's doing the classic dance back and forth. All right, so we need something round that is large enough to go around that entire seal to help us tap it into place evenly to get it to go in and without destroying it. Now, sometimes you can use your old seal, but it's pretty hammered. Well, actually, maybe we could kind of bend it back in the shape, but first, let's try this. This is 50s Ford stuff, and let's see if this is the same size as our new seal. I suppose I could have took the old one and just done this to find out. Yeah, I think it is. So let's put this over the input shaft of the oh, there you are. Let's put this over the input shaft of the transmission and see if that'll work. It might be a little kind of awkward because it's got some weight to it, but let's find out. Okay, let's see. So if this does not work, we'll try to bend the old seal back in the shape a bit so that we can give that a go. Okay. Now, Borg Warner and Ford Motor Company have a relationship. Or at least they did. I have no clue what's going on after 1970. But still, this is a Ford part. It feels so wrong. But if we get our transmission together here, that's all I care about. And what is keeping us from going any further? Well, I can't see past our hub. Okay, well, it feels like it's nice and even. Okay, let's see what's going on. Is that working? I don't know. Let's try some more. Yeah, the problem is I can't see. Can't see a ding dang thing. Thank you, battery tray. Maybe we got going now. Maybe not. All right, here's what we gotta do. We gotta go no glove mode. Get the girly gloves off. You'll need this garbage. We need to do this. Okay, use our bare fingers to feel. And now, Okay, just flip the hub around. Okay, I think we might be in. Okay, we need something flat. We need something flat. Flat with a hole, that would be better. Okay, here we go. Massive socket. Massive socket technology. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this, but I've got to hold this heavy cast iron hub centered while trying to hold this big impact socket on here all at the same time and hit it with a hammer. Well, there's a spider on my finger, but it's too late. Whatever it wants to do to me it can do whatever it wants. I can't let this down. Okay, well, the longer this goes on, the more reckless I become, so. Okay. No, we got it. We got it. We got it. It's almost in. Okay, well, that's not the first time 1950s Ford parts have helped this car. I'm telling you folks, you will only see that here in Freeman's garage, nowhere else. And I wonder why. All right, now I can tell you what's up with the torque converter. So in the previous video with this car, we've removed the engine from the car with the torque converter still bolted to the flex plate, and the flex plate is bolted to the back of the crankshaft in the engine. Here's the engine, that's the flex plate, and then here's the torque converter. We pulled it all together like that to avoid laying underneath the car with one arm jammed up under there where you can't see, Ronnie Millsap style, and trying to get these bolts out. You can see there's one right there where my fingertip is. There's 6 of them on this, and it would involve rotating the engine and trying to get these bolts out. Massive, probably would take hours just with one arm stuck up there in the dark. So that's why we just pulled it all together to eliminate at least one of 2 times of having to mess with these bolts. We have to do it at least once, because what we're going to do is we're going to unbolt the torque converter from the flex plate on the garage floor right here. I'll tell you the reason why in just a second. But when everything is all back in the car, we are going to have to go under to get the bolts back in. So here's why. There's 2 reasons. Firstly, our brand new seal, if we're swinging this 400 or 500 pound behemoth, I know it don't look that big, but it's, trust me, it's heavy. If we're trying to swing that thing, maneuvering it around in here, trying to get it back on the input shaft and the transmission, most likely we will just destroy that seal. If we just did it that way, and let's say we damaged the seal a little bit and it leaked just a little tiny bit, but it's drivable, you know, I would almost be okay with that just to have this done, okay? But that's not what we do here at Freeman's Garage. We go a step above and beyond, even when we don't have time to do it. This really is a must though, because the second reason for taking the torque converter off now is that we are going to install the torque converter onto our transmission by hand, and then we will put the engine in the car, and then that's why we're going to have to at least once here go underneath and mess with those torque converter bolts, because I am not, I'll just completely honest here, as if I haven't been honest with you up to this point. I am not 100% sure on this Borg-Warner transmission and this torque converter, and keep in mind, this might not be 100% original parts. Somebody might swap-a-doo and stuff around at some point, who knows. But I am not 100% sure how the feel in the clunky turny action of this torque converter installing properly onto the front pump in this transmission, which is right behind the seal. I'm not 100% sure on that with this combo. I mean, this looks like a standard torque converter, but I just want to put it on by hand so that we don't ruin the seal, and to make sure that I feel it engage and clunk into that front pump. And by the way, this here, oh, we got to get this rock out of here. But, oh, that brings up a whole other thing. This here, this is actually a cooling fan. And this rock, the reason why that brings up another thing is for all we know, some of the leaking, or maybe all the leaking, was actually coming from a hole in this torque converter. So when we get it unbolted from the flex plate here and take it off, we can inspect it, get that rock out, inspect it. There might even be a hole caused by that rock. Ooh, yes, and that's exactly, I was going to bring this up too. There's a plug here. That's exactly what I was going to search for on this. So we'll make sure there's no holes in this torque converter, rust holes, holes from rocks, because we can weld a hole. We can take care of that. And plus, we can pull this plug and we can drain this sucker and then fill it full of fresh fluid before we put it on. Yes! Yes! This moment of rambling right here was completely worth it because this all makes complete sense. All right, let's see what kind of a nightmare this is gonna be. Man, I'm so cool. Are those 9/16 or 5/8? Let's see, well, let's see if we can get a 9/16 on here. Yep, and the engine wants to immediately turn over, which is not unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Mr. Tom Jones. All right. Come on, please, just come on. Let's not, oh, yes, nice, perfect. Exactly what I wanted. I was just gonna say, let's not make this difficult for Daddy. Let's just do the thing here. Now, if we rotate the engine for every bolt, I can get each bolt down here where I have room for our box end. But I'm just gonna keep the engine right where it's at and switch to the open end of a combination wrench, 9/16. And we will see, let me grab a breaker bar here, if we can break this one loose without stripping it out, because if we can, we could just go boom, boom, boom around instead of having to rotate it 50 million times. We could just get all this broken loose right now. Oh gosh, is that slipping? Okay, that's not smart. Okay, dumb idea. We'll just do it one at a time. One of my high school auto shop teachers would tell us the box end is for power. Or wait, no, is that not what he said? You know what? I'll tell you later. Okay, there's our first bolt out. You think this is going to hold? And it did. Except for how did this happen? How did we get ourselves stuck? You know what? I'll meet up with you in a bit. It wasn't bad. I got all 6 bolts out. Now I went ahead and I used this grease pencil that's about as old as the car, and I marked right here this plug looking thing here. We'll just call that the plug. It's not the removable one that we're gonna remove in a second here, but I just marked that, and then I marked the flex plate here, and then I marked the closest nut that a flywheel bolt goes into. Actually, I can't quite get onto the nut with this, but I'm marking this plate here. Okay, I got that marked because this is a 1930s, 1940s designed Nash engine, and this torque converter with this spot welded cooling fan on, this looks correct to me, but who knows what people have done, right? The flex plate, all this could be from anything and from anywhere. So the reason why I marked this is so that we can put it back on the exact way it was. We want the holes in the torque converter to line up with the same holes, okay, that are on our flex plate, all 6 of them. We want it all to go back the exact same way it came apart, because there could be weights welded onto this flex plate or this torque converter, and I don't want to yank it off and then find out there are weights and then don't know which way it was on, and then there's a big huge issue, and then our entire rotating assembly is not going to be balanced. And remember, the torque converter, we're going to be putting it into the car, sliding it onto the input shaft of the transmission, right through, it'll go right through here, and then our seal will be around this, all right? And then we'll be putting the engine in the car and reconnecting this to this. And we're going to have to rotate everything and get these holes to line up. So I'm going to make sure that before we get to that point, these marks are going to be exaggerated and big and bold, because we're going to be underneath the car with one arm trying to rotate things and line them up. I bet you right now Travis Tritt's got rice cooking in the microwave. He's probably got a 3-day beard and he doesn't plan to shave. Oh, wait a second here. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, wow. So everything I just said to you is kind of obsolete. It appears that this is different than a General Motors product. Okay. Yep, that's definitely different than a General Motors product. It's all one big honkin' heavy piece. To be honest, earlier I was looking at this and thinking that they kind of look like it was all one piece. But I thought, no. Some folks didn't see that coming. But there is at least one person out there screaming at their color television set, "No, you idiot!" Okay, so the torque converter and the flex plate are one. You live, you learn, you get loves. So the torque converter flywheel combo is bolted to this. It's not really drag race ready, is it? Looks almost like a pilot bushing for a clutch. Not quite, not the same thing, but same concept. Good morning, it's 5 a.m. It's voiceover Freeman. I had audio issues, so we removed the brass plug there and then started draining the torque converter, and I realized that there was no gook and gunk coming out of there as I thought there would be. There was fresh fluid that we put in when we did our pumpage video. Okay, let's put the torque converter in the battery tray. So needless to say, I stopped draining valuable, expensive transmission fluid out. Okay, I think I complained there about stepping on the bumper. I don't like bending it. And then I put a dab of grease on my finger to grease the seal to prevent tearage while installing the torque converter. Okay, here we go. This is the final go at the install. Get ready for this sweet riveting action. Okay, that's not really a clunk. I think okay, there's a clunk. There's a clunk or two. See, I'm not 100% sure if there were 2 clunks or 3 clunks. There's the big spline and the little spline. I'm rotating here, trying to line everything up inside the torque converter. Okay, regroup so that the amount of things that we destroy is minimal. I think that right now the seal is probably safe and sound. I think that our splines inside the torque converter are on the big splines. of the input shaft, but there's the smaller splines on the end. I think that's what we're missing. So I'm thinking maybe, oh, could I sit like this? Okay. Oh, that's actually really comfortable. That's almost lazy boy comfortable. Well, not quite. Okay, so I think maybe if we should we pull out a little bit and kind of reset? Oh, my Tammy Faye Baker. You know what? I don't care about the seal anymore. I just want to win. I just want to get it on the splines. I don't care about the stupid seal. If it leaks, it leaks. Kidding, kidding, kidding. Please don't leak. Well, there's no way it's on all the way. There's just no way. I just would not believe it. I mean, it looks like maybe it could be, but no. There's just there's no way. There shouldn't be this much weeble wobble. I've been fiddling around with this for about 5 minutes or so, just wanting to just be sure we get this in there properly so that we don't break, shear, and destroy everything. But I just haven't quite been able to get that extra little oomph of satisfaction, of reassurance. But that's just a feeling in the old gullet, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure we're in there. I mean, look at how far back in we are. Look at the gap from the leading edge of the bell housing to our flex plate. I mean, that's got to be it. I don't say this flippantly or cavalierly, but we got a lot more done on this 1962 AMC Rambler Classic than it may appear in this video. In the following days, I got the car ready for the public roadway for the first time since 1975, but after all the fat was trimmed, the final video was so long, you could rebuild a Borg Warner Flash-O-Matic automatic push button on the dash transmission in less time than it would take to watch the video. I'm not putting my thumb on the scale, but I broke the rest of the story up into fun-sized pieces, so I'll meet you back here at Freeman's garage again, and we'll continue the saga.